Have you ever wondered if a simple photograph could predict future betrayal, shattered friendships, and explosive drama that changed history forever? Let's look into that. In this iconic photograph from 1909, we see psychology's most renowned minds gathered together, but beneath the surface smiles lies a world of brewing tension and impending disaster. Because if we look at the photo, seated prominently in the front row are Sigmund Freud, G. Stanley Hall, and Carl Jung, each a psychological titan in their own right. Standing quietly behind them are Abraham Brill, Ernest Jones, and Sándor Ferenczi, trusted disciples whose loyalty and ambitions would soon test the limits of friendship and ideological unity. It all started with Freud's invitation to America by G. Stanley Hall, president of Clark University. Freud was invited for a series of lectures that marked his only visit to the United States and represented the peak of international enthusiasm for psychoanalysis. In other words, a pretty big deal. And beside him stood Jung, his crown prince, trusted friend, devoted follower, and the heir Freud had personally chosen to carry on his legacy. But there was a storm approaching. Just beneath the surface of camaraderie, powerful egos and ideological disagreements were slowly simmering. Jung, initially Freud's closest ally, would soon break away dramatically, challenging Freud's fundamental theories and taking psychoanalysis in an entirely new direction, leading to a lifelong rift. Jung wanted to move beyond Freud's emphasis on sexuality, instead exploring a broader and more spiritual understanding of the unconscious mind through concepts like archetypes and the collective unconscious. This did not sit well with Freud. The betrayal Freud felt was personal and profound, forever changing their relationship, lives, and even legacies. But the drama didn't stop there. Ernest Jones, fiercely loyal yet deeply ambitious, would emerge as Freud's primary defender in the psychoanalytic community. He tirelessly countered Jung's criticisms, protecting Freud's legacy, but at the cost of deepening the divide within psychoanalysis itself. Jones's devotion eventually led him to author Freud's definitive biography, yet his unconditional protection of Freud's image sometimes blurred the lines between historical accuracy and personal devotion. Sándor Ferenczi, initially Freud's cherished protege and one of his most promising disciples, found himself at a painful crossroads. Ferenczi's revolutionary therapeutic innovations, including advocating for a more empathetic, compassionate approach to psychoanalysis, ultimately placed him at odds with Freud's rigid methods. The mentor he deeply admired soon became an adversary, and Ferenczi's theories would not gain full appreciation until long after his death in 1933, 6 years before Freud. Meanwhile, Abraham Brill quietly navigated treacherous waters. Tasked with translating Freud's groundbreaking ideas into English, Brill became the weapon of choice in planting psychoanalysis firmly on American soil. But despite his best efforts, even he faced criticism from Freud himself, who was never fully satisfied with the translations that, could not precisely capture his nuanced meanings. So Brill's work reflected the tension between loyalty to Freud and the practical necessities of reaching a wider audience. And G. Stanley Hall, seemingly neutral but very pivotal, stood at the center of these seismic shifts. His role was complex. By hosting Freud, he offered psychoanalysis unprecedented legitimacy, yet he inadvertently set the stage for an ever-deepening conflict. America proved simultaneously receptive to and wary of Freud's controversial theories, particularly around sexuality and the unconscious. But Hall wasn't the problem. In fact, Hall was the only one in this picture who didn't have beef with anyone. I mean, Freud clashed intensely with Jung over psychoanalytic theories and spirituality. Jones fiercely defended Freud against Jung's critiques. Ferenczi fell out with Freud over therapy techniques, and Brill struggled quietly under Freud's relentless scrutiny. This photo became a haunting prelude to decades of conflict and division, even as each man depicted contributed significantly to psychological science. So, in the years following this photograph, friendship shattered, bitter feuds erupted, and psychoanalysis splintered into competing schools. This photograph isn't just an image, it's a snapshot of psychological history at a turning point, a visual record of friendships soon fractured, ambitions colliding, and a revolutionary science splitting into factions. So next time you see an old photograph of smiling faces, look again. Ask yourself, what hidden tensions, secret betrayals, or impending dramas could be lurking just beneath the surface? Just a quick word before we end this video. I noticed that many of you who regularly watch haven't subscribed yet, and getting more subscribers really is the best way for me to keep making these videos possible, and it won't cost you a penny. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow and allows me to create more of these videos for you. Thanks for your support, and thanks for watching.